Hey there, it's Lenny McGill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop right here in the beautiful Nashville studios today, and I've got an announcement, kind of a news announcement. The Glock 25 380, okay, being discontinued by Glock here in the United States. Well, okay. A couple things about this. First of all, the Glock 380 has been available for a long time overseas, especially in Mexico, South America, because their governments don't allow them to have a 9mm. So the big question to you is, well, okay, what is a 380? In case you don't know, the 380 is basically a short 9mm. Here's a 380, and here's a standard 9mm. The round, or the bullet itself, is basically the same size as far as the diameter goes. The 380 bullet's a little smaller than the 9mm. The weight of the bullet is a little less. This is a 95 grain versus typically a 115 for your practice ammo here on the 9mm. So 95 versus 115, a little shorter with less gunpowder, so it shoots a lot softer. Still lethal, and there are self-defense rounds available for this that are very effective. So nothing to sneeze at, in a sense that the 380 is a very effective round. And the key to the 380 is the fact that it shoots so much softer than the 9mm, which is hard to believe because the 9's pretty soft as well. But bottom line is, if you got someone who's interested in shooting and they don't like the recoil, the 380 is a good place to introduce them to shooting because it doesn't bite you as much, to say, as a 9mm. All that said, like I said, they're discontinuing the 25. It'll probably still be available down in Mexico and South America, but they're going to just discontinue it here. But what's really interesting is that the Glock 25 frame and a lot of the parts are the same as the Glock 19. And that allows you to basically switch. And so if you have a Glock 19 Gen 3 or even a Gen 5, you can just simply put the 25 slide right on top of your 19. And it just so happens that we have slides available for you. So let me show you the whole detailed process here, and we'll kind of show you how it works and give you an opportunity to turn your Glock 19 9mm into a 380, which again gives you the ability to shoot 380 ammo, but it also gives you the ability to have someone who isn't really comfortable shooting with the snappiness of the 9mm to shoot a 380 and say, hey, I can do this. And that's really what I think is the advantage here. So here's the Glock 25. Okay, and again, like I said, they're identical to the 19 Gen 3 in many, many ways. The frame is exactly the same. The upper is basically the same. The barrel's a little different, of course. The 380, like I said, is shorter, so the chamber's going to be shorter. Okay, all that stuff. Let's show how to go ahead and disassemble this thing. I'm going to go ahead and take my hand up on top here, pull back just a little bit, and pull down on the slide lock and let the slide go forward. Now pull the slide off, and there we go. So there's the 25 upper slide. There's the 25 lower, which is basically identical to the 19. So if you have a 25, you happen to have a 25, you can buy 19 parts that go inside of this, 19 Gen 3 parts, all right? So I'm gonna put the frame off to the side, and I'm gonna take my Gen 3 Glock 19 and do the same process. Take the slide off, pull the slide back just a little bit, engage the slide lock on both sides. Slide lock is also known as a slide release, or excuse me, the takedown lever. A lot of people call it the slide lock, the slide stop, because it kind of locks the slide back. It's very confusing, right? Okay, but the slide lock is the takedown lever. The slide stop is basically the slide release. So when you order those or you talk about them, I get them mixed up all the time, and you probably will too. But the bottom line is slide stop, slide lock. Okay, now I've taken the 9mm slide off, and I'm going to put the 380 slide back on. Okay, it's just that simple, especially here for this Gen 3 option. So we just drop it in like so, and voila. Now you can shoot 380. I mean, just wow. The cool thing about this is the fact that there's nothing else you have to do. You can actually use standard 9mm magazines. Now, the 380 magazines are basically the same size, right? but a little different shape in the back to accommodate the shorter cartridge. However, we have tested it, I've shot it, and you can put .380 ammo into the 9mm magazine, just like that. All right, and here's what it looks like if I do it into the .380 magazine. So you can see that's just accommodating the shorter cartridge. But the 9mm magazine will feed and function with .380 ammo, just like that all day long. So it's pretty cool in the sense that you can actually purchase a 25 upper as a standalone item and just slap it right onto your Glock 19, just like that. Now, for those of you who have a Gen 5, and there's plenty, here's the Gen 5 frame. Now, the only difference you have to do, there's two really, but the only thing you really have to do is you have to change out the Gen 3 slide cover plate with a Gen 5 slide cover plate. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So first steps first, let's go ahead and take the slide off. Again, I'm going to wrap my hand up on top and pull down on the slide lock. Here comes the slide. Okay, the slide cover plate captures the striker and the extractor, depressor, plunger, rod, and assembly. So to remove that, a couple things we have to do. First, we go to the bottom, and we want to make sure that the firing pin is in the upward position. That allows me to get access to the spacer sleeve, which is a black piece of plastic right there that is spring-loaded. Okay, that spring-loaded spacer sleeve is what pushes on the back of your slide cover plate. So it's really important to go ahead and remove the tension from the slide cover plate so that you can thumb that off. Now, you can get it off without doing this, but you end up scratching it and marring it up, and it's pretty ugly. But here's the easy way. You take your punch or even a ballpoint pen, and you get in here and you push down on that spacer sleeve. And like I said, it's spring-loaded. So you push the spring down. Now you can just thumb this straight off, this being the slide cover plate, and there it is. Okay, and I'm going to replace it with a Gen 5 slide cover plate. And they are very similar in many ways, but you'll notice, and let's see if I can get them both stood up here for you to look at. You're going to notice that the cutout is a little different on the Gen 5. Let's go like this. Hope you can see that. So the Gen 5 has a bigger cutout on this one side. This has a little piece of plastic running on it. So this side is a little bigger on the Gen 5. Now, what's really interesting is that the Gen 5 slide cover plates work in Gen 3, okay? But the Gen 3 don't work on Gen 5, and that's why we're changing this Gen 3 Glock 25 slide cover plate to a Gen 5 9mm slide cover plate. Exactly the same size, just with one extra, a little bit more cut. And so here's how you reassemble this thing. Okay, I've done this a million times, so I want to make sure I walk through it with you. You go ahead and get it preloaded. Okay, and again, I'm going to look here. There's the spacer sleeve. There's the spacer sleeve. There's the EDP. Okay, that's the plunger piece, that black one. It's a piece of black plastic that attaches to a spring, that attaches to a metal rod that intersects with the extractor. So it's the extractor, depressor, plunger assembly, and that being the plunger detent. Now, like I said, so I'm going to go ahead and preload my Gen 5 slide cover plate with my hands and get it kind of just started right up there so it's actually touching, and I've got it pushing against the spacer sleeve. I'm going to take a little thicker punch, and I'm going to push the spacer sleeve down. Now, you can, like I said, you can do this with a ballpoint pen. I've done it a million times. But you push it down, and you kind of just get it captured now with the slide cover plate. And what's remaining is the that little black plastic plunger that's captured in the spring. So it's spring loaded. So I'm going to use a smaller punch now, and I'm going to push down straight on that and push it all the way in there, and then just kind of push my slide cover plate up and pull that out at the same time, and voila, it's beautiful. Now this is the Gen 5 slide cover plate in the Gen 3 Glock 25 slide. The reason we have to change it out is because of the way that the trigger housing is built. It's a little different on the Gen 5 than it is on the Gen 3. That said, I'm going to go ahead and put my slide back on here just like this. Voila. And voila, now I have a Gen 5 19 with a 380 upper. Now, one thing to think about, it looks good, it feels good. It is a 380 slide Gen 3 on a Gen 5 frame. So there's going to be a slight little gap right up here. You can kind of see that. Okay, yeah, right here. That's just because of the shape and size of that nose ring compared to the Gen 5 nose ring. So we have a solution for that. So let me go ahead and show you how that works. So it's basically a little spacer sleeve that kind of goes into, or a little adapter that goes into the nose ring. This is the piece right here. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it's kind of not going to stand up for you, but boom. Hopefully you get the idea. My fingers are all over. Let's see if I can do this. That's what it looks like, okay? So it goes into the front of the slide here, and it just fills up the space. Just like that. Okay, see that? Now, put the guide rod back in, and you'll see all of a sudden, here on this Gen 5, there it goes, fills up that space that we just saw just a moment ago. So that's kind of a neat feature. If you have a Gen 5, you want to make it look a little prettier, you put that little adapter piece in that is available here, of course, at the GlockStore. Now, what's really cool about this, couple things. One, 380 ammo, super soft, like I said, easy to introduce new people to shoot. Shoots very, very tight groups because there's really hardly any recoil. It is subsonic by itself, so you can suppress this really, really well. It's just amazing, what is available. Now, one other thing to think about. We talked about the 19 frame, right? Okay, so this same concept is going to work on a 47 frame. Okay, so now all of a sudden you have a 17 round magazine. A little bigger grip. It's going to shoot a little softer because you got more on it, right? And it'll work also on the Glock 19X as well. So it's going to be the 45 frame, even the 47 frame, and the Glock 19X. So you've got a lot of options with this 380 to buy a slide and just kind of slap it around on different guns. And again, it's always nice to have more and more ammo. That said, it's a great opportunity for you to upgrade. Like I said to you earlier, Glock has discontinued these. So within the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, they're going to be gone. So whether you buy the full 25 itself or you buy just the slide, at some point they're not going to be available. So now's a good time to jump on it because, like I said, they're going to be gone soon. Now, we're of course in Nashville, Tennessee. If you ever come to Nashville, come visit us. We're just 3 miles from the airport. People come when they are, checking in. They get into the airport. They can't check in their hotel until 3 o'clock or something like that. They arrive at 11. They come by and check it out and do all kinds of fun stuff. The real fun ones are the guys who come by when they're going out of town. They come in with their suitcases and they load up all kinds of stuff to take it back with them. So we'd invite you to come down and check it out. We've got a great shooting range. We've got some great people working. We love to see people who are out there watching us on YouTube come in. If I'm here in the office, I'll come out and shake your hand, take a picture. It's just one of the most fun things I do. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the GlockStore, and we hope to see you here in Nashville.